Hello, 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 Ultimate Performance community. Welcome to tonight's live at 5, which went from 6 until 6:35. But we have her now. I have her in my grasp, the very wonderful Kerry Ellis, who has graced many a stage here, both in London, in the West End, and on Broadway. And I've got her here this evening, to talk about the dynamic shift changes in voices in particular, and then some examples of how she's had to manage that with her voice over her singing career. But I thought before we get started, I just play a little, indulge me, Kerry, if you will, a little bit of the last time we got to sing together live at my West End sessions in London. Take a look at this, guys.
With your lips, touch my world with your fingertips, yeah. And we can love forever, and we can love forever. Forever is ours today. Who waits forever anyway?
Hey, Kerry Ellis, welcome to the Ultimate Performance community. Thanks for being here.
Yay! Thanks for having me. I think I'm frozen, but hey, maybe you can hear me. You know what? It's really funny. I was literally we released a song today called Panic Attack 2021, and I literally with Brian for about 3 hours on Zoom talking about new songs, and the fact that we sang that there. How lovely.
I know. So I'm just going to bring myself back. So thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. I just wanted to bring you in the group and have a talk about like your vocals specifically, obviously because it's a vocal and performing coaching group. So I just wanted to ask you a few questions about like what you've done over the years to kind of maintain vocal health. I know you're super into your physical fitness because I see you jumping around your backyard and with all your furniture out and stuff on a daily basis. Even in this, I mean, can we talk about the fact that it's snowing today? I mean, what is going on?
No, I love that we've had almost 4 seasons in one day today.
Literally.
Yeah, I I try to keep active for more than just my vocal health. I think the older I get, I'm more appreciative of. I want to be physically fit when I'm, in my older years. I mean, I'm 41 now, nearly 42,
Yeah.
and it's just more important to me to be physically fit and have better well-being, and that I think helps everything. It helps your mind, it helps you, obviously your voice,
Yeah.
but being physically fit just helps you aid you on your day to day, and it's more important to me now than it has been ever in my life. And yes, it does aid my voice. I must admit, my voice does respond when I'm fit and when I've rested and when I'm not abusing it, when I'm not drinking alcohol, when I'm not shouting and screaming, all those things that we kind of know but we take for granted. I'm more aware of now.
Yeah, for sure. So, can I ask you a little bit about your training specifically, and what you think your training did and held you in good? Because obviously, I've been classically like I did a classical musical degree before I came to London and did my masters in musical theatre. So obviously, a classical musical technique, like obviously starting to sing opera, albeit I knew opera wasn't the path for me. That kind of technique, I think, really set me up for like very good, healthy singing in the technique that I learned it in. And in saying that, obviously, I've adapted over the years. If I was to go back and sing opera, I'd have to go back completely retrain because I've got a very, very legit but very MT style voice now. So, what were the things? What were some of the things, like the major things that you picked up from your training that you think held you in good stead for your singing today? Because obviously, the roles you performed and the length of time you've performed them. I mean, this is me talking about being an athletic actor. Is that what we do is nothing short of a marathon when you're in a show like that. So, what are some of the things that you look back on in your training that have really held you in good stead for like the athletic actor that you are today?
Yeah, I think if I look back to like my training, I mean, I went to college when I was 16, and that for me just feels like a million years ago. And so I was so young to start my training, and whether I knew what I was doing or what would benefit me then or what would serve me then, I'm not sure I knew. I think if I was to go back and train now, I would be looking to study different things. You go to what you're good at college when you're younger, and I'm not sure that that's the best thing. So for me, I'm always learning. I'm always training on the job. I think the thing you do get from college is discipline. You learn to be very disciplined with yourself because you have to be up going into a ballet class, and then you move to a jazz class, and then you do an MT class, and then you do a drama class. You have to do that every day. So your discipline is where it starts, I think. And then going on to shows, it's the same thing. You have to be committed to the show. You have to get enough sleep. You have to be able to do that show 8 times a week. You have to look after yourself so that you can perform. And you talk about being physically fit enough to do the show. It is exactly that. It's not an easy thing to do the same show 8 times a week, to sing those crazy shows that we sing 8 times a week, to physically get through them is not an easy thing. So you do have to be disciplined. And that, I guess, does stem back from my training at college. But I learn on every job, and I think every job is different.
Yeah.
Every show for me is very different. And what you have to deliver is different. So something like Wicked was exactly like running a marathon, just as something like Jean Valjean would be. They're similar kind of shows, I feel. But then something like Cats, that I'm about to go and do again, is a different discipline. I've got to be physical, as in I've got to do some of the routines, and then I've just got to sing that one song. But what comes with that one song is the pressure of everybody's waiting for you to go, touch me. It's, they're waiting for that moment in memory, and you have to wait around almost the whole show to sing that one song. So the anticipation and the sitting in your dressing room for the second half waiting to do that song is hard in itself. So you have to be disciplined to stay focused, to be ready to sing that song. So they are very different, but I learn on every job, and I think I take something from every job as well. I learn something new. I learn something new about my voice or my physicality or my acting, or you take something from each job. So yeah, I think discipline is key. It's really key.
Yeah. Cool. So my next question is obviously, I've only come to know you in the last couple of years. I mean, I've known of you for years, but only we got to work together kind of recently, and we're not spring chickens anymore. So our voices, our voices. I mean, I love singing with you because I think because of the way the what's the word? The breadth of our sounds is like, it's quite a big sound when we get together. So which is why I really like singing with you. But my next question is, because I obviously had a bit of a look at your CV before, which is like endless. It's like doing this. But one of your earlier roles was something like Eliza in My Fair Lady. That's right, isn't it? You played Eliza. So, and obviously, like I Could Have Danced All Night is a very different style of singing to obviously something like Me Tin We Will Rock You or Elphaba, which is really quite a belt. Which is, I guess, what you're kind of known. If I think belt, I think Kerry Ellis, which is why you're going to give me a masterclass in my academy. But what did you transition all of that quite naturally? Like obviously because and also it's an age thing, I believe, as well. Like it's where probably 20 years ago when you played that part, your voice would have sat in a very different place to where it sits now. Albeit you've had to transition it because of the roles you've played. But did you what happened specifically for you to kind of shift that gear up? I mean, was it all the rock stuff that you did that you just had to? It was muscle memory, and you have to shift everything up a gear, or did you go and do some steel and learn how to belt properly? Is it like, was there a transition, or did it just kind of happen?
Well, ironically, I didn't have many lessons prior to college, but I did have a few lessons when I was around kind of 12 with a classical teacher, ironically, and I was singing things like PAA's You,
Nice.
Voi che sapete, can't remember the name of it, lots of Italian arias, but so from a very early age, I had this kind of soprano voice, but I didn't believe in it. It wasn't my natural, or how I felt my natural voice was. It was I would only ever use it when I was in these singing lessons.
Yeah.
Until I got My Fair Lady, and I thought I've got to sing in this kind of soprano voice that I hadn't really aired before, hadn't tried out anywhere. So for me, it was quite foreign and quite daunting and quite. I was terrified, if I'm honest, to sing that song and to expose that part of my voice, which I still don't use massively now.
Yeah.
I remember doing a concert with Russell Watson a few years ago, and I had to sing Wishing, and I also Wishing You a Summer Here Again from Phantom, and also what's the duet they sing?
All I Ask of You.
All I Ask of You.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you know, I sing these songs, can you duet them with me? And I was like, well, yeah. But again, it was really nerve-wracking for me to expose that part of my voice. But I'm more confident, obviously, with it now because I'm older. But I have it, but I just don't use it very often. And what's become very comfortable for me, or what I'm known for, is this big belt. And in theatre, you do get pigeonholed, you get put into these boxes, and I'm in that belting box. And if there's a big rock belty sing show coming, I'll get seen for it, and I won't get seen for perhaps something a little bit more soprano, a bit more delicate, because I don't expose that part of my voice. Whether it was choice or circumstance, I'm not sure. You know, perhaps if I'd have got put up for certain roles that did force that kind of classical side, maybe that would have developed more, and that would have taken a different path for me. But I still don't use it enough, I think, is what it boils down to. I'm still a little bit frightened of it. I will happily sing if I'm with a group of people in that top range, and happily be that soprano line, but not always if I'm on my own.
Fair enough. Funny enough, like last week's module in the Ultimate Performance Academy was on the passaggio, like the vocal break, and obviously working through that in a more classical style, of which, I mean, we're always working on. I mean, for tenors, like, you know, me, it's like E, F sharp, G, that kind of range in your voice where it's between here and here. And I call it, I mean, I try to make light heart of it and call it the Scooby-Doo moment in your voice. We've all had it, and it's for me, I think, transitioning from a classical singer to, classical training to more musical theatre, albeit legit musical theatre, but still legit musical theatre, is that, sorry, I'm talking, I put you on the screen, is that, I'm multitasking, is for me, it's a support thing, and the support thing comes from also being fit, and that stems from when you're at college, being at ballet bar at 8:30 and all those kind of things. But it's a breath work thing, because I remember I did a masterclass with a wonderful classical teacher over in the Netherlands when I was living there, and she just got me on, you know, like one of these for like two sessions. Like, wow. All I did was breathe. She's like, no, you're breathing wrong, and you know, it's like kind of starting all over again from a breath perspective, and I think, as we've gone through this year, like specifically, I think it happens naturally anyway, but this year hasn't helped a lot of the people I'm seeing in terms of overcoming their anxieties and building their confidence back is from a lot of breath work, and I see that in you. I mean, you cannot not breathe properly to sing the kind of stuff you have over the years, but it's that really, you know, you can see where the breath goes into the body, like it's here, it's not here, because that's where this shallow breath is where our anxiety kind of stems from. And if we fill up here, as you know, we've kind of got nowhere to go. So it's just super interesting for me, like that. The moment for me is, I'm just trying to bring you back. I'm not doing a very good job today. The moment for me in Wicked, for example, is that moment in No Good Deed, that Fiero, you know, when you bring it back from Fiero, and then you flip that bit. And that
I
for
find
me,
it hard though. I find that really difficult. I
did
still
you?
find that
Because you made it sound really easy.
probably the night you were in.
She's working super hard.
Yeah, but you know what? I do think that it's very interesting you say about, somebody had you on a bounce ball and say you're breathing wrong. For me, I think yes, if you have lessons with various people, they're going to tell you different things depending on how they teach. And I think that's great, take on all the information that you can, but I also think that your instincts are usually right.
Yeah.
With especially I think I'm quite an instinctive singer. I'm not a very technical singer at all. You look at somebody like Louise Dearman, who I think is the most technically brilliant singer I've ever heard. She has that she just has the technique to kind of soar through that break and just fly and soar in those top notes. I don't have that. It's a struggle for me. I'm a more of a dangerous singer, I think. But I do think your instincts are right. So whatever information you do get from other people,
Yeah.
embrace it, listen to it, but make it work for you. I remember having a lesson when I was in New York, a couple of lessons with a teacher who was brilliant, but I was almost coming to her 30 years too late, because I already had my style of singing. And when she was trying to almost re-educate me to sing in a slightly different way, it messed with me too much. It took me off kind of balance. So I was trying to just implement some of the things that she was saying and make it work for me, because I think the voice is a natural muscle. It's a muscle, just like anything else. If you're going to the gym and you're going to lift weights, yeah, there's a safe way to lift them, but we're all going to lift them slightly differently because we're built differently. And I think it's the same with the voice. It's using it to how you would instinctively, use it, but doing it safely.
Totally. And that's the thing for me as well in terms of coaching other people now as well. I'm trying to bring myself back. I'm doing a terrible job at the technical side of things at the minute. But the way I've learned to be the singer I am now, also nearly 40, I took bits of all that classical, bits of that lady in Amsterdam, bits of empty stuff here, bits from Mount View, and I fused it into what I know in a very safe, effective way for me. And I think that's all we can do as people that want to pass on our knowledge, I think, is give them a toolbox of the things that we had in terms of techniques and breath work and stuff. Say, here's the toolbox. Let's try a few things that's right for you, because technique is, I think, quite subjective in terms of, there's steel and there's complete vocal method and malocchi, a very classical Italian way of singing. But it might not necessarily be your way of singing, because everyone is so individual. So I think it's about giving people that toolbox of saying, here's an array of different things. That's fine. Let's workshop this part of your voice in a very safe way with a melee of these tools and see which one kind of works.
A melee. I love that. I'm going to use that word today. You know what though? It's interesting you say about what you've learned over teaching. I've been and I think a lot of people have been teaching through lockdown because we've not been able to perform. And I've learned so much by watching other people and helping obviously and giving over your experiences, but by watching other people, it has been so educational for me. And some things are brilliant, and you don't understand why people don't do what the instinctive things that you do. Other things thrill me, and I think, oh my God, how do you do that? Because I want to do that. So it's been really interesting for me just to watch and learn from other people, and people that again are all different levels of singing and sing for different reasons. Some people just for joy and escapism. I've been teaching various people that work in the NHS, and they do it for a complete escapism. Some teachers that do it for a de-stress, and then others that are graduates from drama school, but that has been just magical for me to watch people sing.
No, it's wonderful, and I feel exactly the same. It's the joy of singing, and it's also remembering why we did it, because obviously it's very easy to forget this year, specifically this year. It's bringing back the joy of singing and why we do it, and actually how good it is for you. I do a module in the academy about biohacking for the voice in terms of, like what's going on physically. I work with a very amazing doctor in the States. What's going on physically? Like when we breathe through our nose, what happens to us chemically? Like the vibrations that we create when we sing. Like it's so when we're doing it safely and effectively, of course, it's so good for us that it's just reminding ourselves, I think, again, like the joy of singing, and that's where it started from, and that's where it started for us. I mean, we've obviously been very lucky in our careers, but we started all this because we love it, and we still do.
Absolutely. And also that through lockdown, lots of people have done various lessons with me online, and they come in and they go, oh, I'm really sorry, I haven't had time to learn something because I've been working or doing whatever. And I say, actually, this is your moment to sing, and this is our time. We're going to sit here and we're going to sing for an hour, and we're going to talk about music. And at the end of it, the joy and those endorphins that they've had, and taken that time out just to sing and be creative and talk about something else, and exactly those things, breathing right and taking an inhaled breath, singing, feeling good has been so important.
Yeah.
I've not done enough myself, I think. I haven't set aside that time to sing myself enough, and I realize how much I've missed it because I'm not singing. I'm not getting that adrenaline rush. I'm not getting that, that excitement before you sing a song, that rush after you sing a song. So yeah.
Well, hopefully we get to have that rush again soon, because we're due to go to Italy to sing in the most magnificent theatre, to do a West End Sessions live, Kerry and myself, later in May. So we have to have a chat about that, actually. But I've got one question from someone in the group, if that's okay, Kerry. And
cool.
Wayne asks, hi Kerry, what's the thing you've missed most during lockdown, professionally speaking? First question. Cheekily, too. Also, is there anything you feel you've gained by having this time away from performing in physical spaces to think about your method as a performer?
I mean, I've missed performing, as simple as that. I've been creative through the lockdown. I've done things like my podcast and teaching, and released a couple of songs, which has been amazing. But I've missed the performance. I've missed that interaction with an audience, that that one night thing, that special evening that you create for the people on stage and the people in the audience. I've missed that desperately. I think this is the longest time I've ever not been on a stage for, since I've been performing, and that's been really educational for me.
Yeah.
It's been really nice to slow down a little bit and be happy with my family, do things like have dinner, go for a walk, not have to be running around, not have to sort childcare. Those kind of things have been lovely. What have I learned about me as a performer? I think you start to do this as you get older anyway, but to embrace every moment. I think we are so far, or we used to be so fast paced, and looking forward to the next thing, or concentrating on what's next, or where's the next gig, what's the next event. Whereas I think now I'll just embrace every single second of it. I mean, I have been very fortunate to have a couple of moments to perform with an orchestra through the lockdown, a few live streams and things like that, and I've just been almost so overtaken with emotion because of the I don't know, the sense of occasion, and just working with other musicians, which is what we do on a day-to-day basis. And not to say that I take it for granted usually, but I mean, it's just been so magical, and I just think I will just cherish every moment.
Yeah, of course. And just one last one from me before I let you say goodbye this evening. Do you have any specific vocal warm-ups and or vocal warm-downs? Is there like anything that you specifically do, just little, because I'm about, again, in my coaching, like small incremental micro habits, little things you can do every day to warm up and warm down. Do you have anything, a little Kerryism?
You know what I do have? I can't even find it now. Where is it? Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, here it is. Yeah. You know what I have recently found in lockdown is somebody sent me one of these. It's a little, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a little vocal thing that you kind of go.
Oh yeah.
And I love it. It's OCO, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it on my Instagram.
That's
They
like
sent me.
it's like the posh version of like a plastic vocal tube.
You know what? It is.
You've got it in sterling silver.
It's exactly that. You know, and I think, you know what, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. You can do it through a straw. You can do it through a vocal tubes are really good too. This for me, I was never really into anything, you know, like that. I would literally do a few hums, a few little sirens, and I'd be like,
And
I'm
off you
done.
go.
And off I go. But this, I feel, really kind of puts your voice in the right place very quickly. So if
Okay,
you
right.
need to, if you've got to sing quite quick and you haven't got time, or you don't want to do a big warm up, for me this works really quickly. But I don't like to warm up for a long period. Especially if I'm doing a big gig that I'm going to sing a lot for.
Yeah,
I'll do a few
yeah,
sirens, few hums. I'll, you know, do the sound check, and that's me done.
yeah,
The only time I've ever warmed down is on Wicked.
yeah.
I've never done it before, and I've never done it since.
Get that
Um,
down.
and I'm not sure if I think it works or not. I don't really know is the answer. I think I would have done anything in Wicked just to preserve.
To
I
preserve.
think out of fear, I did everything that anybody said.
Yeah.
To, you know, that would, any tips, I would go, yeah, I'll try it. But yeah, just, I don't think too much is any good. I think just
No.
enough movement,
Well,
moving your voice so that it's not.
Yeah, it's like saying, it's like from a physical point of view, it's like saying, well, like for those kind of shows, Les Mis and Wicked equally, like don't run a marathon before, or don't practice by running a marathon before you run a marathon. Like it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, live at 5.
Sorry, I was late, everyone.
No, that's okay. It's cool. A lot
Live
of
at
people
7.
now at 7. A lot of people play catch up with this anyway, but I know a lot of people are watching live as we speak. So thank you so much. And of course, guys, as always, if you'd like to hear any more about how it looks like to work with me in the Ultimate Performance Academy, obviously there'll be a link to book a spot with my calendar. I've got a few spots left on Friday, I believe. Kerry obviously does a wonderful masterclass, and Paul from last week from Phantom, and obviously Dr. Denise Bernardini. There's so many elements of it that are super helpful for all aspects of performing, especially now as we're coming out of lockdown. So thanks again, Kerry. This is Daniel Cook signing off, live at 5, at 6, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye, guys.